everybody, my name is Samantha if you are new here, and welcome to Eleph Myrrh. I thought today's video would be on integrity and authority figures, and since the election day is coming up, I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. However, I do want to steer clear from any political candidates because my channel is more about other things other than politics. It's not really my forte. So, but since it is a hot topic, I thought some helpful tips on boundaries as well as the election coming up, basically people and their very strong viewpoints. So basically, we have boundaries, right? We're all born with boundaries, or what protects us. So when we think of an authority figure, we definitely probably think of either a presidential candidate, a doctor, somebody in medicine, maybe a teacher, somebody who has a lot of knowledge about a specific subject, and they're able to utilize it and become an influencer. So all an authority figure is essentially an influencer. Now, influencers are typically supposed to be people or a group of people that have acquired the ability to inspire other people to follow rules and guidelines. So if you have leadership qualities, then you probably are really good at inspiring people. The problem is that oftentimes, or a majority of the time, that people don't want to follow a particular authority figure or a group of authority figures. It usually means that inspiration has left the building. So all that is left with is words like control or dominance. And this is what when people feel controlled, they feel a sense of lack of freedom. So let's say a teacher whose quality is to really be a dancer, right? They maybe take a teaching position and they're really struggling with how to either teach or convey a certain subject, so they end up not being able to inspire their students, so they kind of fall into the category of really controlling, domineering, or strict. A teacher that loves what they do and has a gift of teaching will naturally inspire their students or naturally inspire other people to listen to them. Also, influencers or authority figures have mastered the psychology of basically leadership. A good leader is someone that does the footwork and practices what they preach. So I like to view this as authority figures as influencers because it kind of takes the sting out of basically the word authority figure. If you have an issue with authority, chances are you are around a group of individuals or had a parent or maybe grew up in a foster system and you didn't have a good relationship with authority. So when it comes, what you're seeing when people are very combative with their opinions about anything really, typically authority figures or basically something that's very important to a person and basically who's going to run the country, if taxes should be higher, if you have the ability to be more in a state of freedom rather than individuality. That's what we're seeing a lot today, especially with my generation in general. We kind of are setting new guidelines and new rules within our society or culture, and it's kind of like rocking the boat a little bit. So that's what I really like about my generation, is they kind of want to throw out all the rules and say, hey, we don't particularly like the way that the system is running, so we want to create our own rules. So generally when people are not inspired to follow a particular authority figure, they want to create their own rules. So when it comes to people that are very opinionated, and I always like to keep the peace in pretty much anything that I do, but I generally see a lot of opinions being shared. So a lot of times when people feel that they don't have a choice, or feel a sense of their freedom is being taken away, either in their external world or internal world, they will kind of overstep your boundaries because they don't have any of their own, so they're going to overstep your boundaries. So when I come across people like this, I like to keep in mind that this is an individual that has a very strong values, or what I like to call moral compass. So your moral compass is your integrity, and all integrity is has less to do with right or wrong and more to do with your personal values, or what you stand for, and making that into an action. So if I have a value of being right all the time, I'm generally going to pick conversations or point out other things about people that I don't think that are right. Or if I have a value of maybe being a good person. Now, a good person is a really relative term, but people that really want to be a good person all the time generally kind of live life through half of a lens. And because no one is all good and no one is all bad. There are happy people, and then there are not so happy people. So generally a person is not either all happy or all sad. You're kind of in the middle. So that would generally decide if you're quote unquote a good person or a bad person, right? So all integrity is taking those, living through those values and putting them into actions. So when I see someone that is very opinionated, it either means, one, they're very insecure with their values and they have to externalize it and generally overstep your boundaries, or two, they feel helpless in some form within their external or external life, and they're kind of like trying to force that opinion on you because it gives them a sense of control or being seen and heard. So I like to view people through their moral compass. So, interesting thing about the moral compass is no one's compass is the exact same. So when you take the concept of right or wrong out, it leaves more room for less of a reaction from you and more of a response. So reaction oriented is more of, falls into the lines of compulsion or impulsiveness. And compulsive and impulsiveness usually comes from a fight or flight within the brain and body. Usually when someone is reactive, they feel like they have to defend themselves all the time. Where if a person is more in a state of responsiveness, they're making the choice to reply and making that conscious decision to reply. So you're keeping that inner peace, and but you're still having those boundaries where I don't want to be walked on, but I'm going to reply because I'm willingly making that choice, which is my second point, is that when we feel that we are willingly doing something versus not willing, or feeling like we have to do it, it gives us more in a space of volunteering to do something. And it's going to be more in, if you feel like you want to do something or you want to have a conversation, you're not going to feel so defensive, and you're not going to have to consistently prove your point all the time. It's kind of like I'm having to have a conversation with you and you're having a conversation with me. So this kind of helps with boundaries. If you come across someone that is really, basically with any topic, is very opinionated and is just really defiant or really strong-willed, So this is helpful for people that kind of are a little bit more timid with their boundaries, and it's also, I find, really helpful. It's more of a rooting feeling as well. So when you have like very strong boundaries, like within yourself, you're going to feel more rooted within yourself. So you're not going to be as in a reactive state. So this is definitely a practice. And so boundaries are really important. Authority figures are very important. And it's just a balance of how you're willing to use what you have. So what I love about integrity and the moral compass is that since no one's compass is the same, everyone is basically walking around like a individual compass. So you get to find out more about the person, their values, what they stand for, and there's usually like something that's positive or beneficial for them when it comes to their moral compass. And we generally side with authority figures who have similar like moral compasses as we do. And so I think that's the positive trait, is you get to find out what values a person has, and you get to communicate with that person through those values, basically. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys in establishing or helping establishing boundaries. And stay loving, guys, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. If you would like to book a session with me, I will leave the info in the description box below. You can also listen to my podcasts on Spotify. I am been working on that as well. So I will leave the description of my podcast in the description box below. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Stay beautiful and stay loving, guys. Have a beautiful day. Bye.